Hello kids, let's start with our geography subject, chapter 8, How Seasons Occur, part 2. Bring out the differences between the duration of daytime in the months of June, September and December. From June, daytime start decreasing. In June, daytime is greater than September. In December, daytime is smaller than September. What could be the reason for the change in the shadow of the stick? Let us see the answer. The reason behind the change in the shadow of a stick is as the earth revolves around its tilted axis, the sun appears to move southward or northward, and as location of the sunrise or sunset shift southward, shadow shift in opposite direction. What did you observe about the position of the sun at the horizon at the time of sunrise and sunset? The position of the sun at the sunrise appears to change on the horizon every day. Its position appears to move towards the north or south in the course of a year. Which of the following factors could be related with the change in the position of the shadow of the stick and the differences in the duration of time? Rotation of the earth, distance between the earth and the sun, revolution of the earth, the axis of the earth. Apparent movement of the sun. You must have realized through your observation that the position of the sun at sunrise appears to change on the horizon every day. In position appears to move towards the north or south in the course of a year. However, in reality, the sun does not move anywhere. That is why this movement of the sun towards the north or south in a year is called the apparent movement of the sun. The position of the rising sun keeps on moving towards the south in the period from 21st June to 22nd of December. This period is called as Dakshayan. From 22nd December to 21st June, the sun keeps on moving towards the north. This period is called as Uttarayan. The revolution of the earth around the sun and the tilted axis of the earth are the two factors responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. Seasons occur only with reference to the northern and the southern hemisphere. Observe this figure. You have to answer this question. Here comes the answer. The position of the rising sun keeps on moving towards the south in the period from 21st June to 22nd December. This is called as Dakshayan. From 22nd December to 21st June, the sun keeps on moving towards the south. This period is called as Uttarayan. I have already said you about it. Now, let us see perihelion and aphelion position of the earth. The path of the revolution of the earth around the sun is called elliptical. The sun is at one of the two centers of the ellipse. The sun does not change its position. As the earth moves in an ellipse, its distance from the sun does not remain the same. It is at its minimum distance in the first week of January. This is called as the perihelion position of the earth. In this position, the southern end of the axis is towards the sun. As against this is the first week of July, the earth is at the farthest point from the sun. This is called as aphelion position. In this position, the northern and the axis is towards the sun. With the help of this figure, you can make out the position of the earth in relation to the sun. You can also guess the season prevails. As the earth revolves around the sun, the equator receives perpendicular rays on 2 days in a year. This condition occurs on 21st March and 23rd of September. On these days, both the poles are at the same distance from the sun. This is called as equinox. The illuminated and dark position of all the parallel including the equator are shown in this figure. When any one of the poles inclines the most towards the sun, parallel to that hemisphere receives perpendicular sun rays. The sun rays are perpendicular at the equator on 22nd March and 23rd September, which are the days of equinox. After 22nd March, other parallels between the equator and the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere starts receiving perpendicular rays sequentially. Only on 21st June and 22nd December, the sun rays become perpendicular on the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, respectively. These 2 days are called solastic days. The cycle of season and the living world. If the Earth's axis were not tilted, the same climatic conditions would have prevailed throughout year. The season would not have occurred. One and the same type of climatic condition would have prevailed on each of the different parallels. It is the tilt of the axis that leads to occurrence of season, change and diversity on the Earth. The living world on the Earth is affected by the cycle of seasons. For example, in the region between 66°30 and 90° in both the hemisphere, even the mild sunlight available for a part of the year gives rise to certain flora and fauna. In the Antarctic, that is why organisms prefer a certain habitat. During extreme cold climatic condition, when the food supply becomes scarce, a number of birds and animals migrate temporarily. Trees bear fruit in a particular season. Therefore, agriculture seasons also depend on the local climatic conditions.